Oliver from Rugby League, in my opinion, here today, joined by former NRL, former Super League player, and more importantly, new West Wales Raiders recruit, Rangi Chase. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you, man. I just finished the hard day's work, but just winding down now. So yeah, everything's good. Thank you very much. How
That's
are
good.
you?
I'm pretty good. I mean, that's good to hear, especially after the past couple of days of us actually trying to get this
Yeah,
interview
yeah.
sorted. We've had audio issues on this service, that service, but you know
Obviously,
what?
I'm a bit of a dinosaur, so I'm not the best at technology, bro. So it's partly my fault. So we got there in the end, didn't we? So
Yeah,
it's all
definitely.
good.
Yeah, it's all good, and we're going to get into it now. Look, well, when we did get a bit of a recording the other day, you actually spoke about moving to West Wales and how the move to the club actually came about. So why don't you, I guess, retell that story for the listeners?
Yeah, so it was well. Long story short, I used to play against Aaron Woods, which is the coach. He's only a couple of years older than me, so I played against him back in the day in reserve grade. He was playing for Para when they were a strong team. I think they won the competition. I was just coming through at Balmain Tigers there. So, and then I hadn't seen him for a long time. So I bumped into him in France at one time. So it was a familiar face, we got talking. Aussies and Kiwis, when you're abroad, you get to you talk and you get to catch up with each other and ask how each other going. But then I didn't even know he was the West Wales Raiders coach. So that was our last game before lockdown, and then we spoke after the game and said, "I'll keep in touch with you," which I never thought anything of it. And then it got to a point where COVID hit, and I was going through personal things in my life, and I felt like I needed a change to get out of Yorkshire, which I've been living most of my English life, and I was either going to go to France or West Wales came up, and I just thought, after speaking to them, the ambition that they had. He's a young coach. He's ambitious. From not only from him, but the owners and the general manager, and talking to everyone. So they came around pretty quick. And long story short, it was pretty long, but yeah, that's how much. That's how it came about, pretty much.
Yeah, that's awesome. How has the move to the area of West Wales actually been, I guess, from like a personal standpoint, not necessarily from a club standpoint, like actually moving into the community?
It's been unbelievable, to be honest. I think it's been the best move that I ever made. At this point in my career, because I was getting a bit stagnant, and COVID hit, and like I said, I've been in Yorkshire for a long time. I just felt like I needed a change. I was going through some personal things, and I felt like I needed a new change for a new fresh start. Um, but the Welsh people, they're similar to New Zealanders. They're quite down to earth and easygoing. Um, but it's done me a world of good, to get out of my comfort zone and get set new challenges. And yeah, I think it's been the best move for me. And it's not just the people, the locals. It's the people I work with have been unbelievable. Um, yeah, I work for Equipful Gyms. Shout out to Equipful Gyms, but yeah, they've been unbelievable to me, and the people around here are just so welcoming. So it's makes it a lot easier. Even though it's lockdown, you don't get out to socialise much, but the people that I have come across, they just they're very welcoming. So it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're going to take things right back in reverse now to the start of your career. You brought up how you debuted at the West Tigers when we were talking off camera, and how you got that move to the Dragons to get an opportunity. You'd spend 2 seasons at the Dragons in '07 and '08. Um, why was that opportunity no longer there for you at the Dragons? Why did you have to leave the club where you'd eventually go to the Castleford Tigers?
Yeah, good question. I was there when at the end of Nathan Brown's um, end of his Dragons career. It come as a shock, really, because he was very excited the way I was training, the way I was playing. And, he personally said to myself that I was going to be the starting six because I was a utility player and I just wanted to play one position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like it had benefited me personally. But just I was just filling the team, and which when you're young, you just play wherever you want. And it's all about playing first grade. But I thought for me to develop as a player, as an individual, I needed to play one position. And and then Nathan Brown moved on, and then the great coach Wayne Bennett came, and he said I was going to be a fill-in
Yeah.
half or fill-in. I just felt like I was 22 years old, and I felt like I was good enough to start. And um, yeah, the option came up to either go to Castleford or Salford. So, and I was promised that I'm going to get one position. So that's all I wanted to do is just to get the experience and to come back to NRL and be a better player for it. And lo and behold, I was here. I've been here 12 years, so I never looked back, and it did help my career because I did play one position, and I did become a better player. But yeah, that's how that came about. I just thought, you know, what, I think it's time for me to try and establish myself as a whatever position it was, either it was hooker, half, or standoff. I just wanted one position, so that was my main goal. It was, you know, and like I said, I put myself out of my comfort zone, come to a new country, and it was a culture shock, the weather and all that sort of stuff. So it done me a world of good. It got my career on track.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So when you actually moved to Castleford, it would end up being the longest stint in your career at any one club. Why do you think you were so comfortable, I guess you could say, staying at Castleford? What was it about that club?
Um, well, there's a load of things, you know. My coach just he just let me be myself, you know, like he just let me express myself, and I'm one of them players that like to express myself.
Yeah.
And it gave me the confidence, you know, if I made a mistake, just to keep carrying on. And I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And then my confidence started to grow, and I started doing the things that I knew I could do. And I spent 5 years there straight. And the people of Castleford were so welcoming and so loving. They're so passionate about their rugby league. It was an eye opener, you know. Like the fans over here are completely different to Australia. No disrespect, but they're very patriotic,
Yeah.
and I just loved the whole vibe, how they get behind their team, and I just loved it. And like I said, every year I grew as a player because I was playing one position, and then I believed in myself, but it was like, yeah, I actually am as good as what I think I am. When you start playing and playing consistent rugby league, and it's what I can do this. So like I enjoyed it. So I came for 2 years, and then willing to go back, but then years went on. 12 years later, I'm still in the UK.
Yeah. Well, you speak about, playing the best footy that you can and, I guess Castleford backing you to do that. I got to highlight one season in particular, 2011, Man of Steel. What was different about that season compared to, I guess, every other year of football you've played in your career?
It was confidence. It was a confidence thing. I used to go into games without sounding or coming across big headed. I just knew that I was going to be good. I was going to be good.
Yeah.
I was a player that used to put pressure on myself, and I had a bit of an ego, and said, I always went into games saying that I'm going to be the man of the match, because the way Terry Madison coached me, he sort of let me be. He sort of let me be free. Um, and it was let me express myself, and I just had that feeling. I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but when you know you're on, and things came off, and
Yeah.
sometimes they didn't, but it didn't stop me from keep trying. And that season particularly stood out for me because we came ninth that year, and we didn't make the top eight, and I still became man of steel, which was it was a great achievement in itself. But that season, it was a very good season. The season before I thought I played very, very well as well. But like I said, I just grew in confidence and I just believed in myself. Um, when you're a little kid, you dream it. You know that you're good, but you don't realize it's like you get to a point where you think, actually, I can do this. And then you start believing in yourself. And then the more you believe in yourself, the more things come off. So 2011 was a great year for me. It was a long time ago now,
Yeah.
but it's it's one of them things that I'm proud of. And now that my kids are old enough, they can watch me on YouTube and things like that. So yeah, that was a good year.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you speak about achievements. You'd actually represent England on a number of occasions, part of the 2013 World Cup squad, I believe. What was it like representing England? What did it mean for you?
Good question, because I'm a proud New Zealander.
Yeah.
I'm a proud Maori boy, and my dream was to play for the All Blacks growing up, and then it
Yep.
was to play for the Kiwis. And then I come over here, and then I met a woman, and I got married to her. And at that time, she got pregnant, and I just knew that I was never going to leave this country or leave the UK. So as you go on in your career, sometimes your goals change. And that was mine. Mine changed, and I thought, being over here, it was hard to make the Kiwis. Plus, this was my home now, and it's still my home. You know, after years later, it's still my home. And I always said I'll never leave this country because of my kids. And the feeling, it was an honour. It was an honour to play for England. Um, they got so much proud history behind them, especially the Great Britain side. And like I say, it was a big moment in my career, and something that I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
But like you say, it was a bit of a cannot deny and say to you that I did not grow up wanting to play for the All Blacks and for the Kiwis. But as life goes on, your dreams and your dreams change and your goals change because certain things happen in your life, and that's what happened to me.
Yeah, I guess you could say playing for England was sort of you representing your new life in a way, Yeah. So yeah,
Yes, 100%. It was me playing for England was exactly right. It was this is me. Like, I come here as a player I was confident in myself, but I was never established. But I
yeah,
made my name here, so it was a way of, yes, I was born and raised in New Zealand, and I'm proud of my culture. I'm a proud Māori boy, but I made my career here,
yeah,
and this is where I became Rangi Chase, if you know what I mean. Like it, so it made me, that was the reason why. Plus, I had a baby on the way, and I wanted to, because I never had no father figure growing up, so I wanted my kids to be proud of their father and have something for them to look up to say, listen, look, if I can do it from the circumstances that I was brought up in, so can they. And yeah, and I'll still hold that close to my heart representing England.
yeah. Well, after your stay at Castleford, you would go to Salford, a team you brought up before. You'd end up at Salford for a couple of years there. How would you sum up your experience in Salford?
Yeah, Salford was a weird one. I'm not going to be honest. They signed a lot of great players. If we had, if we were to play teams on paper, we probably would have beat a lot of teams, but games ain't played on paper. So, and I don't really want to go deep into it because the past is the past, and
Yeah,
you gotta forgive, and just things just happen there that um, just shouldn't have happened, and a lot of players left when whilst I was there. Over 20 odd players within a year or two had left, and my marriage was breaking up and things like that off field, and then I didn't realize at the time this, so I started suffering with depression, and then but it was one of them because I left. Reason why I left Castleford because we were coming last a lot, and I just
Yeah.
thought the signings that they were making, I thought I could, make something better, win the competition because I won all the personal accolades. I couldn't have won any more. I nearly got, when I was at Castleford Player of the Year, pretty much every year, Man of Steel. So I wanted to win something as a team, and I thought Salford was a team, but it just didn't work out like that.
Yeah, I've actually heard from a couple other people in the past. I think they might have been at the club maybe a bit before you. That it wasn't exactly the happiest place to be for a little while there, Salford. Which good on them now. They've recently made a Super League grand final. I think it was in 2019. It seems they've started to get a lot in order. After your time at Salford, you would spend stints at the Lee Centurions, Widnes Vikings, and eventually Doncaster after a stint back at Castleford. Are there any highlights, I guess, for you personally that you could sum up that period of time with?
What after Salford?
Yeah, after Salford, sort of, I guess that period where you're at Lee and then at Widnes, there was a couple of seasons where you were sort of trying to play
Yeah,
your trade at
I,
different teams. Yeah,
I guess I was like when I left Salford, I was just I wasn't in the right headspace.
yeah,
I started drinking too much, and I started dabbling in drugs. There's no secret about that, and I just couldn't get myself back together. And although I love rugby league, I just couldn't handle my demons properly, and there hasn't really been any highlight after that. It's sort of I just did it because I loved it, but I still couldn't. I still had my issues and my demons, and they got the better of me at times. But I enjoyed my time at Witness and Lee. Lee gave me opportunity there at Beaumont. He gave me an opportunity to go there, and he looked after me. He tried his best, but obviously I wasn't in the right frame of mind to give me all.
yeah,
Went to Witness and tried to fix that, but then certain things happened again in my life which I didn't handle the best, and then I got banned there, so I was still making bad decisions, and wasn't coping with what I was going through the right way, and and yeah, and the rest is history. I got banned, and which is yeah, that happened, and I can't sugarcoat it, and then I deserved everything I got. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it happened, and I'm a different person for it. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from from them times, but yeah, there's not really been any highlight for me. It's I went to Doncaster, which is you touched on, which was a great friend of mine, Carl Hall. He's the CEO. Me and him are really, really, really good mates. And I wanted to. We promised each other that I'll play for him before I retire. And obviously, COVID came, which
yeah,
shook up the world, and it didn't happen the way we wanted it to happen. But it was good to play for him because he's a dear friend of mine.
yeah.
So yeah, now I'm at where I'm at now, but I'm in a good place and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, well, let's talk about now. Let's get right into now. The West Wales Raiders. He talked about actually moving to the club before, but I mean, you've recently signed. So too has Gavin Henson, who is a former rugby great over there in Wales. You seem to be building a decent squad for the League One season. How do you rate your chances?
Um, there's no pressure on us, you know. We've come last year, so there's not really any pressure on us. We can't get any worse.
Yeah,
But the club, the boys seem to be buying into it. That we're improving every week. Um, Not only I think it's good for the local area, I think it's good for the country, the Welsh,
Yeah.
the Welsh. It's the World Cup season World Cup year coming up. I just think that there's a lot of opportunities for these young Welsh people to make a stand and then to improve and make that Welsh squad. But my thing was coming here is just to not only make a difference to people around me, but just make a difference amongst the community and grow the beautiful game of rugby league that we all love. You know, it's very rugby union orientated here, and I think the more eyes that we can get, the more people we can tune into rugby league and that are interested in rugby league. I think that's a win in itself. But I think personally for myself, I just want to help people around me and help the people that turn them rugby union staunch followers into start watching the West Wales Raiders. So hopefully we do well, and I think we can do because we're improving. I think our squad's just getting better and better every week. So come round one, I think we're gonna shock a few teams.
Yeah, good to hear. Well, I believe you've actually got a Challenge Cup game coming up in a few days. How important is it for you guys to, I guess, exceed expectations a bit in that competition? Because the Challenge Cup is really the knockout tournament where these teams in sort of Championship and League One, it's their opportunity, I guess, on the big stage, right?
Yeah. It's like I said before, there's no pressure on us.
Yeah.
Like if Witness are doing their video on the Raiders last year, they're probably wasting their time with a different squad. And I think I'm pretty confident that we can be competitive against them.
Yeah.
And I'm confident that we can beat them. And it's not only good for us, but it's good for the community, like I said again, and it's good for the Welsh people to see a rugby league team up there on TV. It's on TV, it's televised, and I just think it's a great opportunity, not for the club, just to get that exposure, and people like Gav Henson, who signed, he's only going to bring eyes into watching us, and people like myself that come all the way from north. People wondering why I've signed for West Wales, but I know the reasons why, and I just really think that we can do something. And then it starts this Sunday, so we can't wait. We're all chomping at the bit for this game, and then hopefully we can upset a few people.
All right. Well, thank you for your time today, Rangi. Honestly, especially after the aforementioned audio issues and such, but we got it done in the end, and it was a great chat.
No worries, bro. Anytime, man. Like I said, I'm a dinosaur with the technology, so anytime you want to hit me up, bro, just give me a message.
Yeah, well, at least we know how to do it this time, right? We can move all that other stuff
Yeah.
aside, get straight into it. All right. Thank you.
Too easy, bro. Take care.